Welcome back to Philosophy Unpacked. Today, we are tackling a really provocative piece from Friedrich Nietzsche's masterpiece, Thus Spoke Zarathustra.
I'm ready for it. Nietzsche is always intense. What specific part are we looking at, and who is he putting under his philosophical microscope this time?
We're diving into the section called The Famous Wise Ones, where he launches a powerful critique against the public intellectuals and thought leaders of his time and ours.
The so-called experts and gurus. So what's his main argument? Is he saying they aren't as wise as they seem to be?
That's exactly it. He claims these famous wise ones do not serve the truth. Instead, he accuses them of serving the people, and more specifically, the people's superstitions.
So they're essentially just telling the public what it already wants to hear? That sounds more like pandering than offering genuine wisdom or insight.
Precisely. In return for this service, the people give them reverence and respect. He says the people even tolerate a little bit of their unbelief, seeing it as a harmless joke.
It's like the master letting a favorite slave get away with a bit of playful backtalk. It doesn't actually challenge the power structure at all.
That's a perfect way to put it. Now, Nietzsche contrasts these figures with someone he truly admires, the free spirit, the genuine truth seeker.
And how does he describe this free spirit? I'm guessing this person isn't very popular with the general public if the wise ones are.
Not at all. He compares the free spirit to a wolf that is hated and hunted by the dogs. This individual is an enemy of all constraints and refuses to worship popular ideas.
So the free spirit is an outsider, a dweller in the woods, as the text says. The people actively try to hunt this person down from their hiding place.
Yes, and the people justify this persecution by calling it a sense of right. They operate on the belief that truth must be with the majority, with the crowd.
That's a chilling thought. For there the truth is, where the people are. Woe to the seeking ones. It frames independent thought as a dangerous crime.
It really does. Now, let's go back to the wise ones. Nietzsche argues they engage in a form of self-deception to justify their role in the system.
How so? Do they convince themselves that they are actually pursuing the truth, even when they're just echoing popular opinion?
Exactly. They label their pandering as a noble will to truth. Their own hearts tell them, I came from the people, so the voice of God must have come to me from them.
They mistake the roar of the crowd for a divine message. He then compares them to an ass, which is a pretty unflattering image for a wise person.
It is, but it's very specific. He says they are stubborn and artful like an ass, acting as the advocates for the people, essentially just pulling the people's cart of ideas.
And he even notes that powerful leaders will sometimes use a famous wise man to gain popular support, like harnessing a donkey to the front of their fancy horses.
It's a brilliant image of borrowed credibility. This leads to Zarathustra's main challenge. He wants them to finally stop pretending to be something they're not.
He tells them to throw off entirely the skin of the lion. So they're just wearing a costume of a fierce investigator or conqueror, but it's not who they really are.
Correct. He wants them to become truly conscientious, but he has a very unique definition for that word. It's not about following rules.
What does being conscientious mean in Nietzsche's view then? It sounds like it involves some kind of personal sacrifice or trial.
It does. He says the conscientious person is one who goes into God-forsaken wildernesses and has broken their own venerating heart, or their need to worship and be worshipped.
So it's about achieving true independence by abandoning the need for external validation, even from a higher power or the community.
That's the core of it. He uses a beautiful metaphor about the desert. This person might be thirsty for the comfort of an oasis, a place with community and easy answers.
But they don't give in to that thirst, because they know that where there are oases, there are also idols. Places of comfort are filled with groupthink.
Exactly right. The will of this true seeker, which he calls the lion will, actually desires to be hungry, fierce, lonesome, and free from the happiness of a slave.
So there's this stark contrast. The true free spirits are lords of the wilderness, while the famous wise ones are well-fed draft beasts in the cities.
They are servants pulling the people's carts. But here, Nietzsche adds a layer of nuance. He says he doesn't entirely blame them for being servants.
That's surprising. He even says they can be good servants and worthy of their pay. How does he square that with his earlier criticism?
He explains that virtue can mean being a good servant to a master whose goals are advanced by your service. In this case, they help the people's spirit and virtue advance.
So they are useful in helping the collective improve, but only within the confines of that collective's own limited values and vision. There's a big but coming, I assume.
A very big but. He says, despite their virtues, they are still the people, a people with purblind eyes who do not know what spirit truly is.
And this is where he gets into the really deep, difficult concepts. What is this spirit that the wise ones and the people fail to understand?
He defines spirit as life which itself cutteth into life. It's a force that achieves growth and knowledge through its own struggle, pain, and self-torment.
That is a radical idea. That knowledge comes from self-inflicted wounds. And he says the spirit's happiness is to be a sacrificial victim.
Yes, it's the complete opposite of a comfortable life. The joy is found in the struggle itself, in being consecrated with tears for a higher purpose.
He uses so many powerful metaphors here, like the spirit learning not just to move mountains, but to actually build things with them.
And he says the people only see the sparks of the spirit, the final brilliant results, but they don't see the brutal process, the anvil and the cruelty of its hammer.
They see the lightning flash, but they don't understand the storm that created it. It's a very visceral way to describe the creative or intellectual process.
Absolutely. He then calls these wise ones lukewarm. He says all deep knowledge is coldly flowing, and the innermost wells of the spirit are ice cold.
And they are not hot enough for that. They lack the inner fire and passion to be able to handle the cold, hard reality of deep truth.
That's why he says they could never cast your spirit into a pit of snow. They would freeze. They don't know the refreshing delight of its coldness.
He also accuses them of making wisdom too comfortable and accessible, turning it into an almshouse and a hospital for bad poets.
A place for mediocrity. Yes, a safe space rather than a challenging frontier. He says they are not eagles, so they have never felt the thrill and terror of soaring above the abyss.
The message is clear. If you're not a bird, you shouldn't try to camp out over a canyon. They should stick to what's safe and familiar.
He concludes with a final magnificent contrast. He sees the wise ones standing there, respectable, stiff, and with straight backs, not moved by any strong wind or will.
They are static and rigid. And how does he describe his own wisdom in comparison to that static image?
His wild wisdom, he says, is like a sail crossing the sea. It's rounded and inflated and trembling with the violence of the wind.
That wind is the spirit he was talking about, that powerful, untamable force. His wisdom is alive, dynamic, and powered by something beyond his control.
Precisely. It's a vessel for a powerful force. His final line to them is a question. That is also a statement. But ye, servants of the people, how could ye go with me?
It's a declaration of incompatibility. He is on a wild, unpredictable voyage, while they are firmly, safely anchored to the shore of public opinion.
He is moving with a force they can't even comprehend, let alone endure.
It's a profound separation between two different ways of living and thinking.
It really makes you think about the nature of expertise. Are the experts we listen to challenging us, or are they just validating what we already believe?
That is the central question he leaves us with. Are we seeking the comfort of the oasis, or are we willing to brave the intellectual wilderness for a harsher, more authentic truth?
It's a timeless challenge, and one that feels more relevant than ever in our age of information and public figures. A truly powerful segment.
Indeed. It forces a deep self-reflection on what we value more, the approval of the many, or the lonely, difficult path of the free spirit.
And it reminds us that true growth, as Nietzsche sees it, often comes from the very struggles and pains we're naturally inclined to avoid.
A difficult but essential lesson. That's all the time we have for today on Philosophy Unpacked. Join us next time for another deep dive.